Hey guys, it's Chris. I want to talk about the movie Beau is Afraid. I saw this at the AMC Lincoln Square 13 on Saturday morning, this past Saturday morning, and it's gonna play. It's gonna play this Thursday, 2 days from now, everywhere. I saw it at New York because I just couldn't wait. Because Ari Aster is just one of my favorite directors ever. I think he's an absolute genius. I loved Midsummer. That's a 10 out of 10 movie. I loved Hereditary. That was an incredible movie. And yeah, I was just really excited about this project. I love Joaquin Phoenix. I love everybody involved in this production. I saw the movie Beau, the short film starring Billy Mayo. May you rest in peace. And I thought that was pretty funny. They took it down from YouTube, of course, because this movie coming out. I think they just didn't want to they didn't want people to kind of get an understanding of what they wanted, we're gonna see. They're keeping this movie really under wraps. Like they really don't want people spoiling anything. At least Ari Aster, like you know what I mean, and the production team, like they're not really giving anybody anything. I've been listening to Q&As and stuff, and they've been asking him questions after people have seen the film, and he's been very careful with his words, with how he's talking, how he's explaining the movie. And he's not really giving too many answers away, because I think Ari really likes to keep people in suspense and like wonder why they saw what they saw, what did they see, and then when you like actually look at the fucking guy that made the movie, like he can give you all the answers, but he just chooses not to, and I really find that to be a really good choice for him to do, because you want people to just come out with their own speculative answers of what these things are. And I think there's a real positive to that, but there's also a negative because there are people criticizing his films, saying that they're pretentious and all this type of stuff, and they're tired of Joaquin Phoenix playing these like emotional ticking time bomb roles, like he did in The Joker and The Master and Her. You know what I mean? So I already understand that this movie's like very like split. Like there's people that really love it, there's people that really hate it. I'm gonna be the one that's on the love it side because I mean this movie's kind of made for me. Like I absolutely fucking loved this movie. I mean I better have loved it fucking traveling 2 hours to go see it, but that's not really why I loved it. The reason why I loved it is it's so many reasons, but one of the main reasons was it's the tonal shifts that this director can do, where he can make a scene so fucking funny, but then really scary, like all in a matter of seconds, and it doesn't ruin the movie, it doesn't ruin any type of suspense having to do with humor or horror. Like it just blends in well, at least for me, like me as a viewer, and also a lot of the audience members that I was with in New York City were enjoying the movie as well as I was. And it's written so beautifully, the set pieces are fucking amazing. Like there is a urban landscape in this movie, like it's the area for where Beau lives, and it's fucking horrifying. Like literally the worst people you have ever seen that are outside. Like it's like Kensington and Philly, but like notched to an 11. And he really utilizes these scenes so well. And it doesn't even start there. Like the movie is 3 hours long, so you're just in it for the entire time. Like at least for me, when I was watching it, I did not know what was gonna happen next. I didn't really understand why a lot of things were going on, but then I slowly started to get like what was happening. And I feel like if I just leave you to that suspense and let you watch the movie for yourself, you could probably figure it out as well. And I'm not trying to say like, oh, if you don't get this movie, like I don't really give a shit. Like people aren't gonna like this movie, and they're not gonna have a injust. They're not gonna be wrong. Like the movie's 3 hours. It yet again it focuses on family trauma as his last two films had. You know what I mean? And the criticisms that I've been hearing about this movie with Joaquin Phoenix's performances, the pacing of the movie, um, let's see, the things that happen in the movie sometimes have upset people, which I understand. And there is a final shot to this movie that could either make it for you or break it for you, and I can't really tell you what it's going to do. Like I'm just here to tell you that everything in this movie worked for me. I feel like this movie is like damn near a fucking masterpiece, to be real with you, because these are the type of movies that I like hunger to see. And it is such an amazing and unique movie. Like the best way I can describe it in a sense of just like saying it structurally, it's kind of like an absurdist comedy like Woody Allen's Sleeper, but then again, it's such a horrific set of events that go on that there are things that will make you really feel uncomfortable, but then you'll just bust out laughing because of the irrationality that's set forth in this movie. And I just really commended and respected that Ari Aster was able to convey that on screen. Like, that's just really fucking hard to do. And as being ballsy as making this movie as long as it is, I think that, like, this movie really deserves a lot more that respect than it's getting. But at the same time, like, it's really hard to say because people either really love it or really hate it. And I hate to say that I'm like the guy that really fucking loves this movie. I just feel like it's gonna be really hard for people not to call this movie pretentious, because I don't believe that it's pretentious, because being pretentious is making something and and making it out to be more deeper than it actually is, and that is not true with this movie. Like, Ari made this movie with absolute love and attention and complete coherency when it came to what he wanted to say in the story. It's just the absurdism that's added into this movie could really throw people off and make them get lost. Like, I give up. I don't even want to fucking try to figure out what's going on. This movie's pretentious, and it's not that. And sometimes if somebody really likes this movie, like in the side where somebody really likes this movie, they'll shove their head up their ass and say, "I know what this movie's about. It's about this. It's about that. It's about it's about being afraid. Like, we're all afraid of our families, and like we've all had that." And like, I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to say, like, you either come to the side of calling it pretentious for not really understanding it, or not really trying to, like, not having the patience to understand it because you're just like, fuck this shit, or you get pretentious talking about it, which I think Ari might be encouraging because it's only adding to the confusion that he's creating in this movie, and that's what makes it so funny for me. Like, I just love that, like the reaction that he's been giving out of people's reaction in this movie. But that's not what makes this movie better. Like I said, what makes this movie so amazing is the tonal shifts that he provides in this movie, the the uniqueness that this offers. You know, like, I've never seen a movie like this, and I've actually been writing a movie that has been kind of in this realm, but I don't think that I'll ever perfect it in a way that he has in this. Um, I want to talk about more things like the actors in here. Stephen McKinley as the therapist is absolutely incredible. Um, like, he just looks the role. Like, and he really does show concern for Beau, but Beau's mannerisms, like, he's just so paranoid that all this chaos is created from it, and you don't really know where to go when it comes to Beau's personality. You don't know what's going to happen. And it's so weird because Beau is such a unassuming, very much a pushover, but at the same time, he has so many emotions repressed that, like, you just, you just can't help but just, like, kind of look at him and kind of feel bad. Um, Now, the actor Nathan Lane and Ari Aster himself, they both described this movie as like blank for Jews. Like, so Ari Aster has said that this movie's like Lord of the Rings for Jews, and then Nathan Lane said this is like Everything Everywhere All at Once for Jews. But for me, this is Passion of the Christ for losers. Like, and by the way I say that is literally just what it is right there. Like, this is the worst nightmares of a person that has such a he's just so lost, and he just doesn't really know where his dread really came from anymore, because all of it has been repressed by him, and all of it comes from his mother. And it's it's really a shame that I can't really describe this movie to you. Like, you're just gonna have to watch it, and that's only if you're interested. This movie, unfortunately, is not a movie that I could just recommend to anybody, because people are gonna watch this and be like, I, I just don't care, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Like me personally, like I'm an absolute cinephile. I love movies. I watch so many of them, and I'm really like when I watch a movie like this, I know that I'm under the hands of somebody that loves movies even more or as much as I do, and I was really in good hands throughout this whole 3 hours. Like I wish I could tell you why I love this movie so much that I haven't described already. Um, like there's a kid here who plays the young version of Beau, and he's a real person. Like watching it in the trailer, I thought this kid was CGI, and he's fucking not. Like he's not CGI at all. Um, but seeing him in this movie and watching him perform, he did a really good job. And I wish I could just give criticisms of this movie and agree with other people, because I know a lot of the criticisms come from not only Joaquin's performance but just the pacing, uh, the subject matter. It's like, oh, give me a fucking break, and mostly just the length. Like I've also heard from people that are in the middle. They say, well, I really like this movie. I love parts of it, but there's somewhere between there. There's a perfect 2 hour movie, and I don't agree with that. Actually, my only criticism that I have with this movie is that it's not any longer. Like I really wish that it would have been the 4 hour cut that I was promised by Astor when he refused to show it at a film festival when he didn't want to cut it anymore. And I really hope that there is a future where a director's cut comes out that's way longer and I can enjoy more of this film. I don't know if I praised this movie well enough, because that's kind of why this video isn't stopping. I want to just keep praising this movie, but I just have to stop because I'm just going to give this a 10 out of 10. This is a fucking cooked to perfection movie. Like this is a Michelin star movie for me. But at the same time, like this is kind of like that Michelin star meal that's like, oh, it's a snail slime. Like it's like, who the fuck eats this shit? But then when you eat it, it's like one of the most incredible fucking things that you will ever have in your life. This is the reason why I go to movies. And it's not movies specifically like this. I'm just talking about like somebody's creativity and someone's journey into conveying this successfully into the screen, giving to you whether you like it or not. And in this subject, I really loved it. It's a labor of love, and I'm happy to give that love back and just keep being a fan of Ari Aster. I would recommend the short film Beau, but he did take it down on YouTube because I'm sure he didn't want people to watch it because there are elements into that short film that's in this movie. And it's only a short part of the movie, like a very minuscule part, but I think it's enough for people to kind of have an idea of what it is. And I don't think he wants anybody knowing anything before walking in, and that's a very smart thing to do as a director. Um, Also, the movie was originally called Disappointment Boulevard. If you don't know why he changed it, from what I understand, it's because he wanted people to deviate themselves from the script that was out there in the ether back in 2014 that was called Beau is Afraid. So he changed the title. He changed the title. Like he didn't change the title, but he announced his new film as Disappointment Boulevard. So he wanted to kind of take people away from the script that was out there somewhere, so there wouldn't be any spoilers. He also had another title called Mona's Choice, which is the name of Beau's mother in the movie. And it makes sense, but I really am happy with the title Beau is Afraid because it's so straightforward. I feel like this movie is very straightforward, and as absurd as it gets, I feel like I have an understanding of what's happening in the film, and I think he did a really, really good job, displaying a lot of the symbolisms, like the endless amount of symbolisms that is in this film that you won't be able to catch on just one viewing. You'll have to watch it way more times to really get like, oh shit, like that's happening. This is happening. Like it's a lot of masterfully done subliminal messages in this movie that really sparks interest in fucking weirdos like me. If you've watched Beau is Afraid, I wanna hear what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. Hit the like if you like, or if you don't like. Love you guys.